May I now request Naresh G. Jain, the convener of JITO Foundation Day, to kindly address the gathering.
Jai Jinendra and happy evening to all. JITO was formally constituted on 20th of March 2007, and it was decided to celebrate it as the Foundation Day by all the JITO chapters across India and overseas. April 2nd was fixed for the same. As the behemoth event, JITO Ahimsa Run, was scheduled on 2nd April, we had moved the celebration of a Foundation Day to today. Foundation Day is a proud moment for every JITO member, and we salute all our founders who had envisioned such an organization and set the path for inclusive growth of its members and the community around. To commemorate this day, we are honoring and felicitating eminent personalities of Jain community. We are also recognizing the pillars of JITO Chennai chapter, and so goes the event. To take this event forward, we have our own members hosting today's show, inviting Sailesh and Abhishek Shah to the stage. I would also like to introduce the team behind today's event to please come on the stage. Denil Shah, Rajesh Lota, Gautam Kotari, and of course Sailesh Jamar and Abhishek Chavatia are here on the stage. I would also like to recognize Ranjitji Jain, who has helped in identifying and finalizing some of the awardees. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I want the other team members please join.
Jai Jinendra, this was an event which it was supposed to have in the end, but Sailesh and I were extremely nervous about facing all of you, and so he thought that I'll calm your nerves and get this particular thing going in the beginning. Jai Jinendra, Sadar Pranam.
Good evening, one and all. Dream is not what you see in sleep. Dream is something that doesn't allow you to sleep.
And it's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes your life truly inspiring and interesting. अगर 84 लाख योनियों के बाद हमें यह मनुष्य जीवन प्राप्त हुआ है, तो इसके पीछे डेफिनेटली एक लक्ष्य भी तय हुआ है.
There are two great days in a man's life: the day he was born and the day he discovers why.
The challenge then is to decipher that how do you actually understand the end-to-end encryption, not what WhatsApp uses, but what the God keeps sending you from time to time as signals.
Signals. I just got a signal that we haven't invited our chairman Chennai JITO chapter, Ramesh ji, for the welcome speech.
Here's calling Ramesh Ji Dugar first on the stage to welcome the gathering. Ramesh Ji Dugar, Chairman, Chennai JITO Chapter.
Hi G and all, yeah, we are part of the JITO family.
No Ramesh ji, it is like आजकल जब बिस्किट को पार्ले जी कहा जाता है, नमकीन को बिका जी कहा जाता है, and WhatsApp में इमोजी कहा जाता है, तो आप तो हमारे चेयरमैन हैं, इतना तो बनता है सर.
Okay G, thank you. Jai Jinendra JITO family. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this 17th Foundation Day celebrations, in which we are felicitating the achievers who have assembled here. JITO family is growing rapidly, and I am extremely happy to say that we are the largest chapter in terms of members in the country. Also in the current term, we have added 67 new FCPs, which is more than 70% of the total FCP additions in the whole India. Chennai chapter has always been in the forefront, and all the avenue directors have given their better than the best. It's often said, achievers are not born talented, but they possess the I can do attitude. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This is the special character of the achievers sitting amidst us today. Today, on this occasion of this Foundation Day, we will be presenting awards to the achievers amidst Jains who have made our community proud and raised our heads high. I once again welcome you all to this eventful evening. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our CPBD.
CPBD? This ain't a bus terminus,
No,
Shailesh.
he's fondly known as Chota Packet Bada Dhamaka.
Thank you, Ramesh ji, once again for addressing our gathering. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, Abhishek, I'm a big Bollywood fan. And a lot of movies have inspired me, but nothing like Three Idiots. The story, the lead character, from Chote to Rancho, where he enjoys every moment of his life, to Ranchor Das, and then achieving something like a Fungchuk Wangadu. Did any movie inspire you so far?
It does. During my lockdown period, I watched this one very special movie. And you know what? When I watched this and I got to know later on that none other than Rahul Dravid, our very own Indian cricket team in the wall, actually talked about him, Praveen Tambe.
Oh, Kaun Praveen Dambe.
Exactly, that's the movie name, Kaun Praveen Dambe. To those who may have seen this movie and to those who may not have seen this movie, this is a very inspiring story of a person who never went on to play for the Indian cricket team at an international level. And yet, I speak to him on this dais when we have some esteemed achievers in front of us. Praveen Tambe was possibly a perfect recipe for what a failure is supposed to be. Born in a very lower middle class family, living out of a chawl with no financial resources, the only passion and dream that he had was that he wanted to play cricket one day at the highest level. And at that time, for him, the highest level was possibly the Bombay Ranji Trophy. Time and again, he got rejected whenever he went on to go for the selections for the Mumbai Ranji Trophy team. And it so happened that his coach, his mentors, his loved ones, his family told him that, Praveen, it's now time you stopped getting into this habit of going into selections only to get mocked out every time. Praveen did not give up. The passion to chase something down to the hilt was running deep into his mind. And he said, no, my time should be coming in one day. There is a moment of reckoning in my life for sure. It so happened that Rahul Dravid happened to spot him, and he wanted Praveen Tambe to join in the Rajasthan Royal teams as one of the spinners. Was this the moment of reckoning for Praveen Tambe? Not as yet. Praveen Tambe was called in to join in on the Rajasthan Royals team, but then went on to become a net bowler. But one very interesting thing caught on to Rahul Dravid's eye, and that was the enthusiasm with which Praveen Tambe used to come every morning to the net practice, and used to practice with such enthusiasm that he's going to get selected for the playing 11 that evening or the following match. It so happened that talented people often invite luck to come and stand at their feet, and it actually happened. One of the spinners in the Rajasthan Royal teams fell ill, and Praveen Tambe got his calling. Now what happened in that match? Praveen Tambe went on to take 3 wickets, And he turned the match upside down for Rajasthan Royals, and they went on to win that particular match. And
You would have been happier, right?
the happiness struck then that he became the man of the match for that particular tournament. After receiving the man of the match award, Praveen Tambe goes into the dressing room and starts crying. He is weeping, he's inconsolable like a baby. Rahul Dravid saw that but did not stop him. The story goes that Rahul Dravid stopped all the other team members, saying that none of you would go to Praveen Tambe right now and stop him, because he knew that these were tears of joy that were flowing out. Ladies and gentlemen, he won his first Man of the Match award when he was 41 years old. That is the story of what Praveen Tambe is supposed to be. And if there's one very interesting takeaway and the moral that I get out of this particular story, is that जब टूटने लगे हौसले तो बस यह याद रखना कि बिना मेहनत के तक तो ताज नहीं मिलते। जो ढूंढ लेते हैं अंधेरों में भी अपनी मंजिल, जो ढूंढ लेते हैं अंधेरों में भी अपनी मंजिल, जुगनू कभी किसी रोशनी के मोहताज नहीं होते। जुगनू कभी किसी रोशनी के मोहताज नहीं होते।
एब्सोल्युटली सत्य वचन। इसी बात में मैं आगे बढ़ता हूं। जो लोग पानी से नहाते हैं वो सिर्फ केवल कपड़े बदलते हैं, लेकिन जो पसीने से नहाते हैं वो इतिहास बदलते हैं, वो इतिहास बदलते हैं।
Truly well said, Sailesh, truly well said.
हमारे साथ ऐसे ही 6 अचीवर्स हैं जो with their grit, determination, never say die attitude, all this together are here with us, and it will be a great honor and pleasure for us to have a rendezvous session with them.
May I request for the 3 AVs of the first 3 achievers. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to call in the first achiever of tonight, Shri Ankit Ji Jain, IPS, as Superintendent of Police, Economic Offences Wing, Chennai. May I request you to kindly come on the dais, please, Shri Ankit Ji Jain. A big round of applause for Shri Ankit Ji Jain. Next in line, I'd request Shri Rishabh Ji Kankalia, IAS, Additional Collector Tiruvallur, to come and join us on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Rishabh Kankalia. And now, lastly, ladies and gentlemen, in the first line of the 3 awardees, achievers, I'd now like to call upon Shri Kamlesh Ji Jain, the BCCI sports therapist, on the dais, please. May I now request Suresh Ji Mutha and Girish Ji Jain to kindly felicitate Shri Ankit Ji Jain. May I now request Prakash Ji Setia and Jaswant Ji Punot to kindly come forward and felicitate Shri Rishabh Ji Kankalia. And may I now call upon Shri Narendra Ji Shishimal and Shri Daulat Ji Jain to kindly come forward and felicitate Shri Kamlesh Ji Jain, Sports Therapist, BCCI. May I now request Shri Ankit Ji Jain, Shri Rishabh Ji and Shri Kamlesh Ji to kindly come and sit on the couch for a rendezvous session. Actually, I'll tell you what, sir, the 3 of you 3 look much younger than both of us, you know, so we were actually worried that the aura, the perception of an IAS and IPS would be someone very serious who would hardly look onto us and smile. But a very pleasant surprise to see the next generation of IAS and the IPS in front of us. Thank you very much, all 3 of you, for sparing some time. We are here to ask you a few questions, maybe to get a little more into your minds and understand the achiever's mindset that you are made up of. There would also be certain humorous questions that we want to touch upon you. At your will and mercy, you may please decide to answer them. Rishabh Ji, I'd like to first begin with you. Could we have the mic? We are from the Jain community, and Jain community is often perceived to be masters of entrepreneurs. But when it comes to professional services, it is often perceived that the Jain community lacks in those particular fields where you see lesser number of people from the Jain community over there. You being a small town boy, you know, and you dreamt of becoming and entering into the civil services there. We wish to know that do small town boys dream very differently and much harder than the privilege the big city boys enjoy? And secondly, or maybe the contrary fact to this particular thing might be that maybe the small town boys it's easier for them to get those faster to those dreams because they hardly have any distractions in them?
Jai Janata Sabiko. First part of your question about the dreaming and what is it for a small town boy. See, my inspiration comes from my own interaction with the society. So when I was in school, when I was in college, I used to feel that the government has a larger role to play when it comes to the life of the most ordinary people. We feel that we are a little bit privileged in the society where we are in, but everywhere the government has a larger role to play. And when we start to complain things that ye nahi ho raha hai, wo nahi ho raha hai, why not we try to change it? So that was one big thought that came to me. Probably we are good at business. We are good at business, and yeah, my father also said that business is always an option. But उसमें I was not getting any satisfaction that someone else has made it, or उसमें मेरा क्या, what will be my contribution? मेरा contribution कब दिखेगा? Rather than I wanted कि हाँ मैं कुछ कर सकता हूँ, like मैं कुछ बना सकता हूँ खुद के लिए जो I can stand proud that this is a product of me and I am the one who have destined my future. So that was one inspiration, जो आपका the dream. And I don't think so कि small town or in the bigger cities कोई फर्क पड़ता है. In fact, I will tell that in people in bigger cities, they have a larger exposure to things and they get things very easily. For example, I did PCM, physics, chemistry, mathematics. I got in engineering college. Only after getting into an engineering college, I knew that something called as an IIT exists. I never had an idea that something called as an IIT exists, or there is an exam called as IIT JEE and you have to sit and prepare for 2 years. I had no idea. I got into engineering college, and my engineering college is very closer to IIT Madras. So when I went there, I thought, okay, this literally exists. And when we started to prepare for examinations, I would have, my ranking was such that a lot of IITians were behind my rank. How did that happen is because that you just have to put in your hard work and your effort, and you do not care about what your results comes, because that is going to come what amount of hard work you have put. So small town people having lesser distractions, I don't think so. You have a lot of distractions over there also. It's not that you don't have any distractions. And in today's generation where social media is everywhere, every person has that distraction, or every person has that idea what to do and what not to do. I feel it's largely your motivation. Maybe you're from a small town or you're from a bigger city. You get inspired, you get certain exposure. Definitely smaller town people don't have that much of exposure because their society circle is limited to a certain set of individuals. But definitely if you get a good exposure and you have a good focus on anything, your small town or city, I don't think so it really matters a lot. Thank you.
You truly live with the fact that be the change that you want to see. Gandhiji's favorite lines, that be the change that you want to see, right?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And as we say, the most successful Indian cricket captain, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, is also from a small town. And I think he also chose to dream the way you thought. And आपने लिखा भी है कि आपके sports idol is Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So can I have the liberty of asking you something? कि do you remember जब वो 2000 World Cup 2011 में जब कुलशेखर को छक्का मारा था लंबा सा and India won the World Cup? Do you anything remember कि Ravi Shastri was on air, क्या बोला था उसने?
Those three famous lines which keep resonating, which keeps resonating every time that India goes on to chase.
And if you don't remember, we have the Indian team physio next to you.
I think so.
He would definitely help you.
Yeah, he can answer. I don't remember it exactly right now.
Well, to be honest, I was not prepared for this, but I'll just give it a try. I think it was something like Dhoni finishes off in style. He smashes it for a 6, and India lift the cup after 28 years.
It is so absolutely
right. Absolutely right.
It is Dhoni finished off in style. A magnificent hit into the crowd. India win the World Cup after 28 years. So that was the line at which made history.
Any vivid memories of where you were, all of you, when India actually won the World Cup? A quick one.
So I still remember this. I was with my family in the house watching the game. Remote control मेरे बाजू में था. So as soon as Dhoni's bat came up, I jumped up and my thumb hit the off button on the remote and the TV went off. आज भी मुझे घर में सब याद करते हैं कि तूने उस टाइम TV ऑफ कर लिया, और TV ऑन होने के बाद एक 30 seconds लगता है वो बफर होके आने के लिए. By then everything was over. So I can still visualize that scene till date.
How about Ankit ji and Rishabh ji? Do you remember anything, any vivid memories of that?
Yeah, I was in my college hostel. I was in Chennai, so हमारे hostel में तब TVs were not, TVs usually use नहीं करते, तब semester exams भी चल रहा था. But then again, since World Cup था, तो हमने TV लगा के जो hall का common waiting room है, हमको 100-150 लोग साथ में मिलके पूरा match देखे थे. So that was my experience. It was amazing.
A little bit similar to what Rishabh told. So I was also in my college, and so hostels में जो बीच का जो area था, common area, so we arranged one projector there, and all the students, they were sitting there. India won the World Cup, and then whole night we celebrated.
Absolutely. सर अंकित जी आपके लिए सवाल है. सी मैंने जैसे पहले ही कहा सबसे कि आई एम अ बिग मूवी बफ. तो जब मैंने सरफरोश देखी थी एंड आमिर खान को अजय राठौड़ के रूप में देखा था एंड एज एन IPS ऑफिसर, लाइक दैट वाज लाइक एन इंस्पिरेशन फॉर अस. हम तो उन्हीं को देखे, आज पहली बार हमें सौभाग्य मिला कि आपको मिल रहे हैं. तो व्हाट वाज योर रिएक्शन? जस्ट रन थ्रू योर इमोशंस सर, के जब आपने पहली बार एक लोडेड गन हाथ में ली होगी एंड बीइंग फ्रॉम अ नॉन वायलेंट कम्युनिटी, so how did it feel, sir?
So one second. Now, in case if you don't wish to answer this question, take out your pointed loading gun and point it to Sailesh, and we'll run through the emotion that he goes through as Ghulam Hassan in Nasiruddin Shah.
But actually, in Tamil Nadu, we don't have that gun culture. Like if you will go to UP or any other state, then you will find every police personnel, even constable, they will carry a gun. But in Tamil Nadu, rarely you will find any police personnel. Only gunmen, they carry the gun, and that is a good thing. And coming to your question, so during training, yes, that was the first experience. During training, when first time we held this gun and we were practicing. So that was thrilling and different kind of weapons. But at one point of time, like 2 years, after 2 years of training, so much practice, you will go through so much practice, then it is just a regular thing. So
Sir, did any Viru Sahasrabuddhe come to on the target saying that isko to parna hi hai?
No such experience.
Kamlesh ji, would like to come to you. You know, this is the first time that we've come across someone who's went on to become a doctor, but as a sports physiotherapist. And then, from the journey of KKR head physiotherapist to now becoming the BCCI sports physiotherapist. First of all, I mean, anyone from the Indian cricket team, I would literally fall down because that's a religion for me and I love them a lot. How was this specific thing that when you went up and told your family that, look, I want to be a sports therapist, obviously at that moment in time, nobody would have even understood the dream that you wanted, or you had to come down to this particular level one day. How convincing was it, or how difficult was it to tell your loved ones and maybe even your family that the path that you were choosing was possibly the right one and that is where you belonged?
I think, to be very honest, it was not that tough because I had full support of my family. So initially मैंने 11th 12th में science group उसके लिए लिया because उस time ही family ने pharma business चालू किया, so they wanted me to do B.Pharm and that will sort of help the family business. But in 2002, if lot of cricket lovers are here, एक incident हुआ था West Indies में where Anil Kumble had a fractured jaw and the physio Andrew Lippus taped him that time, and then he went on to bowl and got Brian Lara's wicket. So that sort of stuck me big time. Or someday I also want to be in that role and sort of make a difference to the nation. So उस time से I used to visualize कि मुझे sports physio ही बनना है. To be honest, journey was not that easy because for 4.5 years I finished my bachelor's, and after you graduate, it is not that easy like any other profession. I mean, my first pay was 6,000 rupees a month. My dad was paying the driver 9,000 rupees a month. So it was not that easy for me, but the motivation was there for my dad. He said, kuch bhi ho jaye, you're not going to the family business. You keep working hard, you keep sticking to this. At one point in time, मुझे भी थोड़ा depression हो गया था कि क्या रहे, I'm not able to earn as well as I should be earning. But then my dad kept motivating me, you just keep focusing on your profession. Worst case scenario क्या होगा, you have an office to back up, you have the business backup, so you just keep working. So I think that business liberty was there for all of us. Okay, profession nahi click हुआ तो we always have a business background. So that liberty gave me that confidence to keep working hard. And I think one by one, I got married in 2011. Sonal is here. And I think that sort of changed my whole life. July, I got married. August, I got a call from Bengal. Then KKR happened, and then the Indian team happened. So I think probably I've been lucky. I've been at the right time at the right place, and God has been very kind.
कमलेश जी, आपने अभी कहा था, we also read that के being in the India-Pakistan recently concluded T20 match, जिसमें इंडिया ने पाकिस्तान को हराया था, and विराट कोहली, may I take the liberty of saying that the shot of the century, Haris Rauf को जो मारा था, तो please tell us about the dressing room scenario about that shot, and उसके बाद भी उसके बारे में उस shot को discuss किया गया था क्या?
Yeah, I think the lead up to that game was unbelievable. जब हम लोग पर्थ पहुंचे थे, we had a good 10-day camp there, and everyone was telling India-Pakistan match नहीं होगा because they were expecting a major cyclone in Melbourne at that point in time of the World Cup. So when we reached Melbourne, it was still raining. One day before the game also, it was still raining, and we couldn't practice that day. So I mean, during the game, it was just unbelievable. मतलब जो Melbourne ground में 110,000, I mean 110,000 people sitting, and when the national anthem was sung, it was just unbelievable. Everyone had tears in their eyes. I mean, the atmosphere that was there at that point in time was just unbelievable. And then the match, the way it unfolded, matlab, at one point in time, I think we needed some 50 runs of 3 overs, and we all thought, nahi yaar, gaya ye match abhi. We were all thinking, ki, what will be the after effects if we lose this game? India losing to Pakistan in a World Cup is unheard of. So we were all thinking, dugout mein, everybody were very nervous, ki kya hoga. And obviously in a T20 game, we all know that the 19th over is the most critical. And wo last 2 ball, I mean, I still remember Paris Mamrea, sir, our bowling coach was sitting next to me. I was telling Paris, bhai, 2 ball kaise bhi bada hit aa jayega, to next over spinner hi dalne wala, I think we will be through. He said, nahi yaar, 2 chakka lagega, you see. And then the first shot that Virat hit, it was unbelievable. The second 6 also was his conventional pull shot, but the first shot, Maratha, it was unbelievable. For me personally, I think 2 things defined that game. One was that 6 of Virat, and Ashwin's jo white ball hua, the well left that he did off the white ball. I think we needed some 2 runs of 1 ball, or us high pressure situation for him to go and leave that ball. I think it was just unbelievable. And after the game, though, obviously everybody were emotional. The celebrations were big in the dressing room, but behind our mind, we knew that we still have a few more games to go, and nobody went overboard. So, I mean, yes, we did celebrate, but next morning again, we were back to our routine, and we had our travel day and routine practice sessions going on. It was unfortunate that we couldn't go all the way in the World Cup, but hopefully come October, November, we should be able to go the distance.
Absolutely, sir. लेकिन साथ में ये भी चीज़ है कि आज नॉर्मल पब्लिक के लिए वर्ल्ड कप में इंडिया ने पाकिस्तान को हरा दिया तो वर्ल्ड कप जीत लिया। आज भी वही है सबके लिए।
Gee, hopefully, but I think we need to win the cup. That will be the icing on the cake.
Absolutely.
Ankit, I'd like to ask you, in one of the recent interviews, you had mentioned that your elder brother Sachin was the one who inspired you to join from being a software developer into the civil services. How did he mold you? Because it's a very unrelated field, being a software developer at one end, suddenly, getting into a very serious civil services. How did he actually mold you into making you believe that possibly the civil services were the right path for you at that moment in time?
It was actually like when I was doing this job in software and IT sector, that time only he was also preparing. So he was preparing for civil service. I was in IT sector. So till that point of time, I had no idea. I had no intention for civil services. But by the time, with the experience of IT sector, I was not much satisfied there. So there was both the things, pull factors and push factors. So pull factors, so my brother was there. So I had all the guidance. I had all the books. So that side, so I got the motivation. From this side also, IT sector, I was not that much satisfied because at the end, I was just not feeling that much satisfaction. So both the things were there. So I think that was the main thing. And second, yes, because in civil services before entering, we all have lots of fear, so much syllabus, all these things. And even my like educational background, I always considered myself good in mathematics and all these things, but never in history, geography and all these things. So coming into civil service preparation was a huge challenge. So that thing was overcome because my brother was there. So that was the motivation.
Great. Rishabh ji, I'd like to come to you. खासकर अपने जैन कम्युनिटी में अपने बड़े भाई को पिताजी का दर्जा दिया जाता है. He's like you're the go-to person during your moment of crisis, and often the one who shields you from dad. Otherwise you might get into a bit of a problem. But we read that in your case, your go-to person is your younger brother, Tarunji. Now we'd like to understand that how, at very critical moment, a younger brother who may not have had as much as exposure that you've had has helped you make those critical decisions which possibly may be right.
Just give you an example. In the year of 2017, when I wrote my second mains, so UPSC exam has 3 stages: the preliminary stage, the main stage, and the interview stage.
I'm sure Sailesh was not aware of that.
So I wrote the mains for the second time in 2017, and the results came, and unluckily I did not clear the examination. So I was dejected because I was putting in a lot of effort for the last 2 years and I was not getting the results. And then clearing the second stage, stopping at the second stage again, you have to go through the entire mechanism. Like you cannot directly appear in the second stage like you do it in your CA examinations or again the other examinations. You have to again sit for the preliminary examination, clear it, again go for main examination. And you don't know where you have flunked, I mean where you have got lesser marks. You cannot do an analysis unless and until the marks are getting released by UPSC examination. So it was a very critical phase of it was a very critical phase. And during that point of time when I was in Chennai, so the only support I had was my brother. So my brother was there for me for the next 3-4 days. Like he just took entire care of me wherever I had to go. He was like, "Chalo bhaiya, chalte hai, kahin lifestyle jaake to kapde kharid ke aate." Like he never let me just to be lonely or to just sit and feel about it. Ki yaar aise ho gaya. He was there with me, pushing me ki nahi ye kar. He was just around me and he made sure that I don't feel even a single moment sad that something did not happen which I wanted. So I can say that whenever I want something, like just a call, Tarun, just मुझे ये करना है, ये चाहिए, he will be there. He won't ask me any questions. वैसे ना राम लक्ष्मण जैसा रहता है मेरा भाई, कि कुछ भी बोलो वो कर देता है. और भी झगड़ता भी है, but that's with every other brother. But he used to be that emotional support, that moral support. Ki whatever happens, I will be with you. So that really matters a lot in your family relationship.
So what better example can we have? An younger brother, an elder brother, and a father who had helped them really like anything. So it was really great, sir.
Kamlesh ji, one final concluding question that I'd like to ask. Any key defining moments in the last few years that you take pride of saying that, see, I did this and possibly this player went on to do whatever in the field and because of that we won?
I think when I was in KKR, Andre Russell was one who was getting
I was trying to get onto that, but I was afraid if I could use that name or not.
So, I mean, generally I don't take names, but this is one thing which gave me a lot of satisfaction. So, Russell used to get injured frequently. The moment he used to sprint on the boundary line, everybody used to look at me and I mean, fingers crossed, nothing happens to him. So, we sort of made a plan ki before the 2021 IPL, let's make a proper plan for him, and I went to the US along with Andre for about 4 weeks, and we had a proper structured program for Andre there in Dallas, where the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Mavericks team train. So I spent a good 4 weeks with him, right from morning 7 till evening 6. It was literally babysitting Dre, everything that he had to do. And after those 4 weeks, he was in really good shape, and then he went on to play all the games for KKR. He bowled 4 overs in every game, and that sort of gave me a lot of satisfaction, because yes, we work with the players day in and day out, but this was something which I spent the whole 4 weeks with the player. I was with him right from morning till evening, and that sort of gave me a lot of satisfaction.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. It's time up for now. We'd like to converse a little more, maybe after the event gets over. But thank you very much for coming over and stopping by. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to the 3 achievers, Shri Ankit Ji Jain, Shri Rishabh Ji Kakalia, and Shri Kamlesh. May I now call upon, I would request you to kindly stay on the stage. Chief guest for the evening, Shri Shantilal Ji Jain, along with our chairman, Shri Ramesh Ji Dugar, and Secretary Nehal Ji Shah, to come up on the dais and present the Achievers Award. A big round of applause to the Achievers. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, Shri Rishabh Ji Kakalia. Shri Ankit Ji Jain, IPS.
Thank you once again, all of you, and this is a wonderful set. It's looking like a filmfare set. So, and we are being awarded after even 5 years of service. So we are lucky enough. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Thank you JITO Chennai chapter and all the patron members for honoring us over here. Definitely 5 साल के बाद वापस आना बहुत अच्छा लगता है and thank you again.
Thank you, Jito. So wherever I go, when they ask my name, I say Kamlesh Jain, and then the first thing they ask is, Jain, tum idhar kaise aa gaye? You're all into business background, so that makes me feel really proud. And hopefully we'll keep working hard and we'll make the community proud. Thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have the pleasure of having Akta ji and Aruna Vijay ji amongst us. May I request Akta ji Jain to kindly come up on the dais. Deputy Commissioner Income Tax Bangalore. May I also request Shri DK ji Jain and Shri Deepchand ji Lunia to kindly come forward and felicitate Shri Akta ji. Welcome Aruna ji Vijay. May I request Shri Daman Prakash ji Rathod and Shri Arun ji Ostwal to kindly come forward and felicitate Shri Aruna ji.
We all know the path, but very few like you walk the path. So how does like being a woman and setting an example for community?
It feels great, honored, and also a lot of responsibility because firstly, having cleared the examination and once you are there in services, you are definitely in a position where you can motivate and influence a lot of people and especially the girls in the society and community to come forward and achieve their dreams. So in that position, it definitely does feel great. I think every time, especially when I interact with girl students who are dreaming to pursue passions which are not generally considered women-friendly and who are trying to break the glass ceilings. So to be in that position, it definitely feels very overwhelming, to be very honest.
Absolutely, Akta ji. Actually, what makes your success a little more sweeter is that you both of you have actually smashed all the stereotypes and shattered every glass ceilings that, you know, we actually perceived that this was a man's world. This only belonged to the men's category. But the way you've gone ahead and challenged, you know, at your level to become an additional income tax in the Bangalore sector, Bangalore circle, and then, ma'am, you going on to become the MasterChef finalist. You've honestly shaped the way that we actually ought to be thinking about, you know, how we perceive and how we break these kind of stereotypes. Moving on, ma'am, there are a few questions that we would like to probe a little deeper into, you know, you're becoming an achiever of sort. And Sailesh had some very interesting tidbits about, you know, he's been doing a lot of research about the two of you. And I actually want Sailesh to say in his style as to how he actually asked me during our
As
stage.
ma'am Shakespeare said, what's in a name? and we say everything. Like, aapka naam Akhta. It's a very, very different kind of a name. And then I asked meaning to a lot of people. No one answered me. Then I went to my best friend, Google. He helped me out. कि Akhta का मतलब क्या है? Akhta का मतलब है undiluted, pure, genuine. So my question to you is, आपके पेरेंट्स ने जो आपका नाम रखा है, चाइल्डहुड में ही उन्होंने डिसाइड कर लिया कि आप इस लेवल पे इतने बड़े ऑफिसर बनेंगे, या आपने ऐसे सोचा है कि मैं अपने नाम को जस्टिस करूंगी एंड आई विल डू दिस?
Okay, so it's pretty interesting that you did take a lot of effort in figuring out the meaning of my name. So honestly, this has been a topic of conversation in all my social circles, wherever I've joined in any new charge or in any new city. So this has been a typical matter of conversation in all the lunch groups. Ki, why is your name AKTA and not EKTA? And honestly, it was a spelling mistake when my parents admitted me in school. So they were lazy enough till I was in class 10 to do the change, and I have been lazy after that to make those changes. So as such, I think that's the story. So I'm really sorry to kind of break the image that you had built for me. And honestly, I had never been the person who wanted to pursue civil services since my childhood. It was never my dream. Only after I graduated from college, like after that, after my college got over and I'd been into a placement in a tech company, it made me think whether, in which role can I actually contribute more, which will give me satisfaction. So in that kind of thought process, I think at that instant, civil services was the easiest option where you can actually make a lot of impact in a very young age. So I think that was the story for me to pursue civil services.
Okay. Ma'am, hold on to the thought because our follow-up question would soon come to you something on similar.
Yes.
But moving on to Aruna ji Vijay because we can't spare her.
अरुणा जी, आपके तो नाम में ही विजय है, right?
Yes.
आपके पापा का नाम जयंती, which is celebration.
Yes.
आपके father-in-law का नाम नवरत्न, which is gems.
Yes.
So जीत तो आपकी पक्की थी नाम के हिसाब से. But how did MasterChef happen and why MasterChef? मतलब जैसे ये वाली जर्नी आपको पहले से इंटरेस्ट था culinary में या how it was?
To answer the second part first, culinary interest, like every other girl, my love for cooking started in my mom's kitchen, and she's been my inspiration. She's an amazing cook. तो कहीं ना कहीं मेरी वो खाने के साथ जो रिश्ता मेरी मम्मी की किचन से शुरू हुआ. And MasterChef is never the plan. I mean, अगर 6 months पहले कोई मुझे पूछता, and after I won JITO Chennai, when I got the runner-up, and JITO Hyderabad में I was the winner, people asked me, you should apply for JITO, I mean, you should apply for MasterChef. मैंने कहा पागल है क्या? इतना बड़ा platform में कौन जाएगा? I'm an ordinary home cook and that's not for me. But then जब auditions का बात हुई, I applied and it just happened, you know, step by step. There were almost 6 levels of auditions that I cleared before I got onto the show. So it was never a plan, but I think things just happened, being in the right time with the right place, like they say, with the right people. Things just happen, and so I think everything just happened very easily. I don't know. मैंने कभी plan नहीं किया कि MasterChef में जाऊँगी करके.
Akhtar ji, humility is the clothing of talented people. That's what they say, that talented people are extremely humble. They come with extreme humility. And possibly when we read your profile, we saw a lot of that humility coming into you, and we'd like to demonstrate this to the audience over here. Yeah? So Akhtar ji, you graduated in BE Electronics and Communications Engineering.
वो आपके लिए एक बड़ा अचीवमेंट नहीं था.
फिर
right?
आपने IIM बैंगलोर से PG PPM पब्लिक पॉलिसी में एज अ गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट यू पास्ड आउट.
गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट, राइट? वो इसके लिए इतना बड़ा अचीवमेंट नहीं था.
फिर आपने C++, जावा जैसे प्रोग्रामिंग कोडिंग लैंग्वेज यू स्टार्टेड लर्निंग एंड पास्ड आउट ऑफ दोस कोर्सेज सक्सेसफुली.
अरे वो तो अचीवमेंट था ही नहीं भाई.
वो कहां से अचीवमेंट हो सकता है?
इंडियन सिविल सर्विस क्लियर करने के बाद विद एन ऑल इंडिया रैंकिंग ऑफ 136, इवन वो भी मैम के लिए एक अचीवमेंट नहीं है.
तो मैम जरा समझाइए अचीवमेंट बोलते किसे हैं?
अचीवमेंट क्या होता है मैम?
Personally, I feel the day you have contributed in such a way to the society that, you know, you can always feel really happy and joyous about that. There's this joy associated with you that you have done your bit. So I think the day I would get that feeling, probably I would feel that I would have achieved something. So I am still on that track. I am hoping.
So what is the destination next for Aktaji? What would really define that, yes, this is something that I really achieved, or maybe I aspire to achieve?
To be very honest, it is never planned, right? You always try to do your best and you always try to put in your efforts in every possible situation and circumstance. Like she mentioned and all the other guests here had mentioned, that you happen to be in the right place at the right time, but the most important thing is you have to be very sincere, honest and dedicated to every opportunity that falls your way. Only then probably one would have achieved whatever they intend to achieve. Like civil services was never something in my plan right from childhood, but it happened, right? Because so similarly, what next? I'm not very sure right now, but I really look forward to the exciting opportunities which will fall my way.
थैंक यू फॉर एनलाइनिंग अस मैम. नहीं तो मैं तो यही सोचता था सूर्यवंशम मूवी जैसे, रात को अमिताभ ने ट्रेन में बैठाया, अगले दिन आईएएस ऑफिसर बन के आ गए. इट वाज एज सिंपल एज दैट. बट थैंक्स फॉर दैट. एंड मैम हमने ये भी पढ़ा है कि बाई चांस आप दोनों का फेवरेट क्विज़िन साउथ इंडियन फूड है. एंड शी इज रियली शी एक्सेल्स इन द साउथ इंडियन फूड. तो आपका पोस्टिंग बैंगलोर में है, सो जब अरुणा जी हमें डिनर पे इनवाइट करेंगे एंड वी टेक फॉर ग्रांटेड के वी बोथ विल बी पार्ट ऑफ इट. तो बैंगलोर वाला सांबार या यहाँ का चेन्नई का रत्ना के वेलकम वाला सांबार? बैंगलोर वाला मीठा सांबार?
Any day Chennai Ratna Cafe sambar.
Aruna ji, on to you to this very, very important question, which I think is running into everybody's mind, that you used the immunity pin at the most crucial stage, where sacrificing it would actually mean that you were losing out on going into the grand finale and winning the title. And what better privilege for us as a Jain community that you actually refused to cook non-veg. I think that was the finest moment that defined Aruna Vijay as a person belonging to Jainism.
Thank you.
If there were 50 followers out of 100, I can tell you that made us like everyone, every household was watching MasterChef.
Absolutely. I hardly know even to make TV. My lady, my wife is over here and she stands testimony to that fact. But the moment we got to know of this particular viral thing that went about, suddenly my interest, aroused in watching your progress, specifically yours, as to how you were progressing and hoping that you keep moving on to every stage. But the side or the bad part of it was that you got brutally trolled as well. I mean, the trolling had reached to an other level which was unimaginable. Now, Aruna Vijay as a person did not have Vijay at that moment in time to handle this particular trolling. You were left all alone. As far as our knowledge goes, you were allowed to talk only once or twice a week to your respective family. Was that, maybe I stand corrected on that
Not
particular
during the
part?
shoot, but yeah.
Yeah, but then you were alone. You didn't, and there were nights when you actually went crying, sleeping, and you've mentioned this in your interview. How crucial did that particular trolling play in your mind to your mental ability to handle such negativity around it, and how successfully did you come out of this entire thing?
The first thing about the immunity pin, जब ये पूरा challenge हुआ, for those of you who didn't watch the show, there was a entire challenge where everybody had to cook with eggs. And the moment I saw eggs in that mystery box, I don't know why I started crying, because it was not because I didn't want to cook, it was because I didn't want to give up my immunity pin so soon. So, I mean, there was no plan B there. मेरे बाकी contestants ने बोला gloves पहन के कर लो, fork और spoon रख के कर लो, आपको हाथ लगाने भी नहीं पड़ेगी, एक बार कर लो. But I think somewhere from where we come from as Jains, our value systems are so strong. अब दुनिया में कहीं भी चले जाओ, I think our roots can never change. You can't change who we are. अगर आप आज भी flight में when you book your tickets, there's an option called Jain food. I mean, no other community has the privilege like what we have. So I think we have made a mark for ourselves, and this being a minority, I think we still made a very strong mark for ourselves. So I think there was no plan B कि मैंने क्यों नहीं cook किया, मुझे कभी करना था ही नहीं, because that was against my principles and value system. And because of this, all the trolling started कि आप vegetarian हो तो आप अच्छे chef बन नहीं सकते हो, if you can't taste all the food by even a chef. This is a lot of trolling that happened. It was not easy, because see, जो already वो celebrity life जी रहे हैं, उनके लिए भी काफ़ी मुश्किल है जब ये trolling होती है. But for me it was something very new. It was the first time I was stepping into the outside world. First time I was out of my comfort zone. 4 months मैं अपनी family से दूर रही हूँ ये पूरे journey के दौरान. And so this trolling did affect me, like you said, it was very bad at times. लोग बोलते थे बस comments पढ़ना बंद कर दो, don't go on social media and read those comments. But it's
easier said than done.
It's easier said than done. It's difficult. आप जब खुद के बारे में पढ़ते हो, it doesn't feel good. लोगों को लगता है, especially the current generation, उनको लगता है जो सोशल मीडिया पे जो एक्चुअल फेस होता है लोगों को, जिस वो ग्लिट्स एंड ग्लैमर दिखता है पर उसके पीछे एक असली इंसान है वो नहीं दिखता. आई थिंक सोशल मीडिया has given the privilege to people to write whatever they want and without even thinking the person behind the scene is a real person, has some real feelings. So I think somewhere it's a boon of, it's not a good thing about social media these days. लोग पता नहीं अनाप शनाप कुछ भी बोलते हैं. So the entire journey was very difficult, but like you said, Vijay was not with me there physically, but he was present with me throughout my journey. Vijay is my husband, and he is been my pillar of support, my strength, and when, believe me, without him, I couldn't have done whatever I've done today. So even though he was not there physically, I would call him every day. There were days I called him and said, मुझे आके घर लेके जाओ, please मुझे अब यहाँ नहीं रहना, because things got so bad after a point of time. And it did affect my performance also on the show. There were a couple of episodes where I was not cooking very well because my mind was so preoccupied with all the things that was happening around me. But I just want to say all this trolling has made me much more stronger person. So I think thank you to all the people who even wrote all the bad comments about me. I think that's made me a better person, made me a stronger person now.
And that's how Achievers is made of. Negative को अपने positive में बदला है.
Thank you.
Honestly, Salesh, 2 words over here that असल में वही जीवन का सार समझता है जो रास्ते में धूल को गुलाल समझता है. A brilliant takeaway from what Aruna ji just said. Thank you, ladies. It was a pleasure having the two of you over here. It was a pleasure having the two of you. May I now invite our chief guest, Shri Shantilal ji Jain, our chairman, Shri Ramesh ji Dugar, and our secretary Nehal ji to kindly come on the dais and present the Achievers Award to Akta ji Jain and Shri Aruna ji Vijay. Akta ji Jain. A big round of applause. Aruna ji Vijay. Ma'am, a couple of words from your end.
So firstly, I would like to thank JITO Chennai chapter. So I had cleared my exam 2013 civil services examination from the JITF Chennai Center. So coming back here after 10 years feels like coming back to your extended family back then, because I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces here who were part of my journey throughout. Like every small victory of mine, whether clearing prelims, mains, they all celebrated with me here, and meeting all of them again here, it feels really good. So thank you so much, JITO Chennai chapter, for actually inviting me and helping me relive those memories, like again get all the nostalgia back. It feels great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Chennai chapter, for this recognition. It feels really nice to be honored by the entire Jain community over here. I just want to share a small quote that I've learned from experience and journey so far. You never run behind success leaving your principles. Let success follow you respecting your values. Your values is what makes you a real winner. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, आपके कोट के साथ एक और कोट याद आया बावर्ची मूवी में राजेश खन्ना का कि it is very simple to be happy, but it is very difficult to be simple. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you once again for having gracing this occasion. Thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to have Shri Shantilal ji Jain as our chief guest for the evening. A big round of applause for Shantilal ji Jain. Thank you very much, sir. It's an honor to have you. Just to read about the profile of Shri Shantilalji Jain, he assumed the charge as Managing Director and Chief Executive of Indian Allahabad Bank on 1st September 2021. Prior to this, he served as an Executive Director at Bank of Baroda since September 2018. As an ED in Bank of Baroda, he played a pivotal role in the amalgamation process of Vijaya Bank and Dena Bank with the Bank of Baroda. He was overseeing a large corporate credit, stressed assets and international banking in Bank of Baroda. He was also serving as nominee director and chairman in the subsidiaries of BOB in Uganda, Tanzania, Baroda Global, Shared Services, etc. A postgraduate in commerce with professional qualification of chartered accountant, company secretary, and CAIIB, he joined Allahabad Bank way back in 1933 in the middle management cadre and rose up to the level of general manager at the bank. Prior to joining Allahabad Bank, he has worked in various industries, and he has a banking experience of about 28 years and industrial experience of about 6 years. Shri Jain is a member on the Managing Committee of Indian Banks Association, and is also heading the IBA Standing Committee of Corporate Credit. He's a non-executive chairman of the Universal Sompo General Insurance Company Limited and a member in the governing body of IIBM Guwahati and NIBM Pune. He's also a member of the Insurance Advisory Committee of IRDAI. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the chief guest for the evening, Shri Shantilalji Jain. May I request you to kindly come up on the dais, and may I request our chairman and chief secretary, Shri Nehalji, to kindly come up on the dais and felicitate Shri Shantilalji Jain.
Jainendra sir. Sir, there are nearly 10,000 branches of Indian Allahabad Bank. अगर एक रेशियो टाइप किया जाए, आपको सारे 10,000 ब्रांच एक साथ देखने मॉनिटर करने पड़ते होंगे, बट इफ वी एवरेज आउट, सो 30 बैंक्स इन एन डे कॉम्प्राइजिंग 24 आवर्स. हमें ये जानना है कि शांतिलाल जी को इतना सब काम रखने के बावजूद शांति कहाँ से और कैसे मिलती है?
Thank you and Jai Jinendra. First of all, we are having around 5,800 branches, and around 5,000 ATMs, 10,000 BCs. So basically, we are having 20,000 touch points. So what we do in business, basically every day at 9:30 we get the reports about businesses, how the business is improving, where it is increasing, decreasing, and then we have a control aspect as well. We have a field general manager officers, then the zonal managers, then the branch manager, then the overseas officers. So we keep on tracking our businesses. We plan, and then the numbers are as per the plan. So we know what is happening in the bank.
So when you're talking about these kind of, the reports that you get, what really excites you? The CASA numbers going up or the loan rate growth going up?
Actually, both these things. CASA gives you a margin. And credit gives you income. What happens when your credit goes, your customer base increases, your revenue increases, your future revenue increases. So this is a revenue stream. Yep. And what the CASA is a low-cost fund for us. So if the CASA increases, naturally my margin will become double. Okay. If the CASA is not increases, I have to take term deposit where the rates are higher. So CASA plus credit, double maja.
So what I wanted to ask was, sir, that which GM gets the pat first? It's the CASA guy or the loan guy?
Basically, loan and CASA both. When we talk to credit people, I talk credit with them, where it is happening, whether a retail credit or MSME credit or a large corporate credit. Basically, large corporate credit is always on our fingertips, because we in our management, every day from 10 to 10:30, we discuss what is our fund position, what is our liquidity position, where the business is grown, where the funds are dispersed. So this is an everyday's job. And the CASA side, it grows consistently, regularly.
I actually forgot to mention a very interesting aspect about Indian Bank, and honestly, I should be standing up for this. Indian Bank enjoys a very, very rare coincidence, and trust me, ladies and gentlemen, sitting in this room, nobody can emulate this, and I say this because Indian Bank was founded on 15th August 1907, and India attained its independence on 15th August 1947. A very rare coincidence for a bank to celebrate its Founders' Day along with India's Independence Day. Am I right, sir?
Right, 100% you are right. So exactly 40 years before independence, the bank came into existence.
सर, एक सवाल है जो मेरा नहीं है, हमारे चेयरमैन रमेश जी का है. बिकॉज मुझ में इतनी हिम्मत नहीं कि मैं आपसे ऐसा सवाल करूं। उन्होंने मुझे पूछा था कि अगर आपका इंडियन बैंक वाला एटीएम कार्ड खो जाता है तो आप भी टोल फ्री नंबर ही डायल करके मंगाते हैं सर या?
नो, हमारे पास नॉट ओनली कार्ड है, आजकल वर्चुअल कार्ड भी हमने लॉन्च कर दिया। एंड द वे टुडेज यूपीआई ट्रांजेक्शंस आर हैपनिंग, सो वी कैन draw money from ATM even without the card. That we are having cardless cash withdrawal. So based on OPT you can draw. Of course, card is required. Then I have to talk to my people to give card. But we have a number of other options as well.
So our Chief Secretary Nehal ji was not left far behind. When he read about your profile on the stressed asset recovery management portfolio that you handled, he actually happened to ask us that what would be more stressful for sir, whether it's a stressed asset recovery या recovery from रिश्तेदार जिनको उधारी दी हुई है.
Which is more stressful?
No, recovery from stress, of course, what happens in banking, if you are tracking the banking industry, in Indian bank we are having a 94% provisions. So suppose 100 rupees is bad, we have already provided 94 rupees. So if you have a recover something, every money you recover goes straight to the profit. So stress assess is given consistent profit to us.
So on the intellectual side about the transformation that has happened in India's growth story, you know, till recent years, the rich owned cars and the common people had horses. In today's scenario, the common people have cars and the rich have horses. You know, so there's been a complete transition of the economy where from 1990s, the beginning of 90s, India has rapidly evolved to such an extent that today the world looks up to us as a giant superpower in the making. How has been your journey in this last 3 decades in the banking industry? And where do you believe that India's growth story is, and at the cusp of where we are currently heading to becoming a super major power, are we in the right direction?
Yeah, point is 3 decades journey when earlier in a regulated environment, when everything was regulated by Reserve Bank of India, the interest rates, both deposit and credit were regulated by Reserve Bank of India. Then even for a sanction of a loan, we have a system of CMA when we need to have approval from the Reserve Bank. So it was entirely a regulated. After this, what happens when they came in the 90s, that everything has been free. The interest rate is free. We can decide over interest rates. We can decide even that interest rate for saving deposit, term deposit. Likewise, in a credit also, we can deposit the credit rates. In addition to that, the amount of credit which we want to give, we can give 100 crore, 200 crore, 1000 crore, 2000 crore, even 5000 crores, based on the capital level of us. So everything is deregulated. So with the deregulation, a lot of responsibilities has come to us. So the banking industry itself is deregulated, and now globally we are having operations. So in global also it has been deregulated. Now the second question of yours is where the India is heading. So you see what is happening in the India, the middle class is increasing. If you see you track the population of the country, slowly population is coming down in India. And at the same time, income level is increasing in the India. So what happened, the per capita income is increasing. When the per capita income increase means middle class too is also increasing in the country. When the middle class is increasing and we are a consumption driven economy, so a lot of opportunities for us. I was reading in earlier years, Maruti 800 was the fastest selling car, highest selling car in the country. Then the second version, no, Maruti 800 or the second version of that car is not selling high. Even the premium cars are selling high. Even you track the Tanishq sale, Tanishq profitability and sales are high other than the other jeweler, because the people are moving towards the branding in the country. So people are moving towards the highest sale car. People are moving towards the branding. If you see in the two-wheelers, the Eicher motor sale, you see that is, they are basically in this product, their sales are increasing. If you see or further, if you track the Hindustan Lever data, even the surf sale is increasing other than the wheel sale, powder sale. So people are basically moving towards the branding side. So income levels are increasing. The middle class is increasing. In your families also you see the double earning. So women participations are also increasing. What happens when all these things happens, we are a demand driven economy. So the huge possibilities even for your auto loan or in your car loan, even your other personal loans. So you see all banks credit growth is in the housing loan segment. are even 20%, 30%. Even the auto loan growth is 20 to 30%. We have seen that highest ever sale by in the auto companies. So huge opportunities for even the personal loans are increasing. People are using more personal loans to buy these things. So these opportunities are more, country is growing. At the same time, you see the globally also, because of the geopolitical situations and all. So global growth rate is coming down, but India's growth rate is there. Even the last week, RBI has come out with a credit policy. But the RBI has increased over GDP from 6.4 to 6.5. Of course, it is lower than 7% of the 22-23. So huge opportunities. And the government itself is putting huge money. We have seen the last budget also, 10 lakh crore of a capex expenditures. So entire government is putting money, the middle class is increasing. You see in the country infrastructure, you see the roads, you see the port, you see even in the data centers in the country, the logistics in the company, so all are growing. So these huge opportunities for our country, for the banks, and for the because most of the members, the business opportunities are there.
Right, sir. Thank you very much. It was really insightful.
Abhishek, one final question, sir, के लिए. मेरे टाइप का एक क्वेश्चन है. So, मद्रास चेन्नई हो गया सर, बॉम्बे मुंबई हो गया, तो इंडियन इलाहाबाद बैंक, इंडियन प्रयागराज बैंक हो जाएगा?
Indian is Indian, na? Actually, Indian Allahabad Bank merged with the Indian Bank. That is why Indian Allahabad. Okay. Indian, but Indians and below we are having the name of Allahabad. The way other banks are having, so still the Bank of Baroda, Dena, Vijaya, they keep. Because what happens, we are having 10 crore customers. Oh. Huge customer base we are having. And the customers' attachment with the organized bank. So that is why we are keeping this name.
Thank you very much, sir. Honestly, it's the bankers like you at the helm of affairs that hopefully India should never be able to see the SVB crisis or the Credit Suisse crisis in India. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A big round of applause for Shantilalji Jain, our chief guest for the event. And may I request Shri MKG Jain and Tarachandji Dugar, who initiated the JITO Chennai chapter, along with Rameshji Dugar, chairman, and Chief Secretary Nehalji Shah, to kindly come forward and felicitate Shri Shantilalji Jain, the chief guest for today's event, and the award recipient as the Achievers Award. Sir, may we request you to kindly enlighten us with a few words. And ladies and gentlemen, we have very few Jains who actually go on to occupy the chairman and managing director of a bank. Sir, a few parting words.
Thank you, JITO and Chennai chapter for honoring me. And I feel honored by getting award from you, basically. And the Mahavir Swami says, Ji or Jino Do, right? So Jine Do, I understood because how Jine Do, when you contribute to the person, you empower the person, you give training to him, you give all kind of education to them, then the real meaning of the Jine Do. So I'm really thankful to JITO and Chennai chapter.
The foundation of any building is through its pillars. And what better way to honor some of the pillars of the JITO Chennai chapter? May I now request our chairman, Rameshji Dugar, and Chief Secretary, Nehalji Shah, to kindly come over on the dais and take us through and honor the pillars of Chennai JITO chapter. Over to you, Rameshji and Nehalji.
JITO Chennai chapter has grown leaps and bounds in the last 15 years and is today the top performing chapter in the country. The credit for the same goes to the past chairman, chief secretaries, and their boards for their untiring efforts to take our chapter to where it stands today. We will take this opportunity to recognize them in this August gathering. We are enjoying the great fruits today. It's all because of all these young, dynamic chairmen and chief secretaries here. AV, please.
May I request our Chief Guest, Shri Shantilal Jain, to come up on the dais? And may I request Shri Suresh Mutha and Shri Girish Jain, the first founding pillars, to kindly come up on the dais. A big round of applause. Next in line, we have late Shri Lalitji Mehta, and we also, while he's no longer with us, may we request his blessings from wherever we are. And may I request Udayji Mehta to kindly come up on the dais? Udayji Mehta. We'd like to call upon our next pillars, Shri Girish Jain and Shri DK Jain, to kindly come up on the dais. Next in line, we have can we invite Shri Jaswantji Munot and late Shri Ravikantji Chaudhary and seek his blessings. Shri Jaswantji Munot. Our next pillars, Shri Narendraji Shri Shrimal and Shri Jitendraji Bhandari. Shri Narendraji Shri Shrimal. May I take this opportunity now to invite Shri Daulatji Jain and Shri Nimishji Tolia. Now may I invite Shri DKG Jain and Shri Bharatji Doshi on the dais. Shri DKG Jain and Shri Bharatji Doshi.
Just for the information of members and the guests here, in JITO we don't have a practice of we don't have a practice of felicitating by any bouquet or a thing. We thought we should at least recognize their presence as pillars of Chennai. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed the show, may I request a big round of applause to this entire committee who worked relentlessly for the last 2 weeks to ensure that we put up a good show. And finally, now I call upon the Chief Secretary Nehal Shah to propose the vote of thanks, and thereafter the national anthem.
Good evening, everyone. Dear members, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks at this function, which I trust you all enjoyed participating in. I would like to thank our chief guest, Sri Santilalji Jain, along with all the awardees, past chairmen, past secretaries, for agreeing to our request and being here today. I would like to thank Sri Naresh Jain for flawless execution as always. Abhishek and Sailesh for the wonderful MOC. Thanks much, Jai Jinendra.